Pandemonium. Total, fiery pandemonium. The only words that could describe one city on the night of Wednesday, 25th of November 2026. Gotham City. Funnily enough, that night in Gotham was all but a plain vanilla night. Gotham's streets were as bustling as ever as people inundated streets. Effulgent neon signs shone blatantly under the night as the usual masses of civilians hurried about in their own business across Gotham. Looks like this will be another ordinary night, right? Sorry, but no. This is the night of the autumn incursion of Earth. All hell broke loose before one could utter Terrence Dicks as an ear-shattering detonation rocked Gotham, setting off car alarms and clouding Gotham with a blanket of grey smoke. Then, as soon as the explosion came, plastic figures trudged and groped their way out of the veil of smog. The Autons had ascended to Gotham. As the first citizens, thinking, vaguely, that the Autons were hoaxes engineered by the minds of students of their rocker, but abysmally unconversant regarding the gut-wrenching peril they were about to face, went like bats out of hell towards the Autons. The Autons, without a word, raised their insufferable wrist guns and mowed them to the ground with fiery, fizzing energy bolts of annihilation. In a span of minutes, multiplied into swarms of plastic legions of chaos, the infinitesimal amount of Autons did. Platoon by platoon, the Autons overran every corner in Gotham with maleficence. Scenes of the utmost carnage played across Gotham as the Autons widened their venomous scope of demolition on buildings. Hapless Homo sapiens, as white as a sheet, hollowed their lungs out, and the Autons blasted them down as they worked tirelessly to tear the heart of Gotham City. Needless to say, the Gotham City Police Department, GCPD, received calls of maximal agitation from citizens.
This is Commissioner Jim Gordon of the GCPD. Who is that on the line? Officer Sim? Yes. What's going on in Gotham City? What? Plastic mannequins? Alive on the streets? Liquidating people? Officer Sim? Officer, I want you to inform your comrades to form a garrison around Gotham. Hold these creatures off for a while. Fate has allowed a military division to station in the outskirts of Gotham. I shall request their assistance to abet us in deleting these things.
3 minutes later, as NBC and Gotham Radio issued urgent warnings for citizens to stay put indoors, the GCPD, bolstered with the support of an army division led by General Harold Saxon, thundered down onto the streets to face off with the Autons. With full intrepidity, thundering with fire, glinting with steel, the police and the military unit unleashed the full force of the weapons of the human world, with sprinting their way through a monstrous moana of wreckage and depredation. Billows of smoke ascended with an occasional flare of fire as the battle raged on. However, in spite of the heroic resistance, not even the assembled body of human defenders could even hold a candle to the mass of Autons. Despite confining the Autons down into central Gotham and sloshing in their maximum effort, one by one decimated the defenders of Gotham World. In no time, it would be toilsome to find anything more implausible than Commissioner Jim Gordon assuming command of a fleeing sea of demoralized men as General Saxon was declared MIA. Sweat trickled as Gordon saw the devastated landscape of Gotham and the broken frames of defenders scattered like broken dolls.
Everyone, form defensive position. Do not retreat yet. Continue defending till the living menaces are decimated. Through a supreme recovery of moral health and martial vigor, we shall reclaim Gotham. Move! Forward, everyone! Defend for Gotham City!
With Gordon, despite facing the most titanic climacteric in his life, standing tall against it, the last defenders blasted the Artons back. With grenades backed up by a M114 155mm howitzer from Gotham Museum, the men charged fearlessly like the Soviet Red Army in the Battle of Stalingrad. However, Artons weren't creatures to be intimidated, and the Battle of Gotham soon reached a stalemate, despite several Artons being cut down. Amidst the thundering noises of the battlefield, Commissioner Gordon feverishly prayed that the crisis would end. Out of a sudden, another stentorian tune joined in the topsy-turvy symphony of War Fortissimo, as something vague amongst the perpetual darkness of the night sky flickered across Gordon's orbs. His gaze was drawn to it as he squinted to see what that thing is. There! A huge charcoal black streamlined object with curved wings was cutting its way across the jet black sky ruthlessly. But what is it? Was it a demon? A dragon? No, it was a plane! A plane built to resemble a bat's wing. A plane so familiar in Gordon's memory, and the memory of all the GCPD who had seen it in their careers. The Batwing, piloted by the vigilante protector of Gotham City, the Batman.
Calling Commissioner Gordon. Are you there? Is anyone there?
Yes, I'm here, Batman. Hear you loud and clear. Oh, thank God you've arrived.
Well, good for that. See that your men are facing huge trouble. But don't worry, Commissioner, for I've got an ace up my sleeve.
Batman flew his Batwing just over the befuddled Artons. With full gutsiness in his voice, Batman boomed out a dressing down of steel to the plastic Terminators.
Plastic Terminators, surrender now or be destroyed.
Instantaneously, Artons reacted by firing at the Batwing. However, everyone on the scene was struck dumb when, thanks to the Batwing's unearthly capabilities, the sizzling, dastardly energy bolts not only failed to destroy the Batwing, but the Artons' energy bolts also bounced off the Batwing. Batman lifted the nose of his plane high into Gotham's night sky as quickly as he dared, with the G-force pulling him to his seat and making him feel as if his frame has been compressed into a space the size of a Cheerios cereal box. In two shakes of a lamb's tail, with a humongous turn, zoomed down towards the Artons, the Batwing did. Liters of enigmatic fluid shot out from the Batwing, engulfing the disconcerted Artons. Unexpectedly, Artons started to wobble. Every human on the ground stared at them as the dummies jolted upright, spasmed, then shuddered so hard till they became a blur to the human eye. Then something bewildering occurred. Most Artons disintegrated. Piece by piece of the plastic bodies fell. Milliseconds later, they vanished from the face of the earth. Flabbergasted Artons in a cold sweat started to break formation. The once fearsome warmongering plastic troops was all but a scattered stream of fleeing plastic, haphazardly blasting around as they scrambled to flee the mandatory Batwing. Gordon, intrigued, radioed Batman to inquire regarding the marvelous wondrous, fantabulous substance.
Whoa, Batman, that was fantastic! What substance was that?
It's anti-plastic, courtesy of Gotham's greatest corporate, Wein Enterprises. The company donated me this as soon as they learned of the attack. They've been producing it all this while to eliminate plastic waste. Anyway, there's not much time to waste anymore. Time for the emancipation of Gotham. Defenders of Gotham, roll out!
With renewed vigor embedded into their every muscles, the defenders of Gotham charged alongside Gotham's only hope, the Batman. With strong determination, Batman decimated the Autons, one by one as his Batwing, winding along at incredible speed, engulfed them with the anti-plastic. Platoon after platoon of invading Autons disintegrated into thin air as they fell under attack by the Batman. Not willing to give up, the Autons concentrated their fire as hard as they could, but unlike round 1, they were the ones that couldn't hold a candle to the opposing side. Infuriated by the constant annoyance by the Autons' energy bolts, the Batwing took a life on its own and thundered down on the plastic automatons. The more Autons fell, the more reclaimed the surviving Autons got. Returning the favor of the Autons, Batman eliminated the Auton as swift as he could before they could summon reinforcements. Over a span of 4 minutes, Autons around Gotham were blown out of the water, with ground forces charging at them ruthlessly, and the Batman in the Batwing spraying them with the esoteric anti-plastic. Tried to flee, some Autons did, but they found themselves pinned before getting deleted for good. At the end of it, having the heebie-jeebies swamping their sights and having nowhere to run, the plastic desperados were entrapped in a net so deviously woven by Batman. 4 minutes later, since the Batwing appeared, the last Auton disintegrated from Gotham. The Autons had been trounced in Gotham. Down on Gotham streets, relief and joy flooded the atmosphere as every human on the streets realized one thing. Gotham City is finally safe! All thanks to one man, the Batman. Speaking of Batman, with a smile wider than the Atlantic Ocean spitting his features, Batman was on the edge of heading back to his secret base, the Batcave, to rest as he became cognizant of the Autons' defeat when the Batwing's AI popped out a stupefying notification. With a sigh, Batman realized that everything was still not over. There were still Autons on the face of the earth, in another city. Batman's thoughts clashed as he decided whether to vanquish the Autons entirely, despite them being in another city.
No sacrifice, no victory. Looks like the job's far from being completed. Let's roll.
With indefatigability, Batman turned the Batwing around. Within milliseconds, Batwing found itself cutting through the skies, heading away from Gotham City to another city near to it infested with ardence. Metropolis, the city of tomorrow. Meanwhile, in Metropolis, the situation wasn't top-notch either. Like Gotham City, the hubbub of Metropolis was smashed to smithereens as a thunderous, raucous fulmination as loud as Krakatoa's 1883 eruption rocked Metropolis. Smoke glided past the streets like translucent Surigumum dragons as Atans stormed the streets, cutting down everyone that they met and blasting buildings that they saw the plastic hearts of stone. The Metropolis Police Department, MPD, faced off against the indomitable, veritable Artan army that had charted a trail of destruction through the city. Hampered by a tiny amount of personnel, the MPD found itself on the brink of total annihilation as the Artans caught them off guard like the Japanese First Air Fleet that swarmed and bombarded Pearl Harbor in 1941. The once thronging, vibrant Metropolis had the flames of destruction swarming the place whose property was being destroyed and people being deleted. Civilians stumbled away from the Artans while the sounds of battle raged on as the Artans proceeded to obliterate anything they saw.
Great balls of fire! First the colossal heist of mannequins, and now we are attacked by them! Form defensive positions and engage the enemy if you can!
In a thrice, the protector of Metropolis, Superman, burst out from an incredible jumbo skyscraper with a humongous sign of neon and technology, Lex Tower. With incredible speed, the protector of Metropolis flew up in the skies to view the raging battle on the surface. After an encounter with a lone Artan in Lex Tower, in which he survived and quickly disabled it with his heat vision despite getting knocked back by the Artan's thunderous energy bolt, the last thing Superman ever wanted was a horde of them besieging his city. Superman flew into a rage as he saw the Artans. Attempted to put Artans on their heels, Superman did, blasting them with heat vision. Despite Superman's best efforts, the battle remained in a stalemate. The reason? Kryptonite. You see, despite being the Man of Steel, Superman had an Achilles heel. Kryptonite was the only material capable of even vanquishing Superman. To make matters worse, the Artan's blast had teensy tiny traces of kryptonite, enough to chip out some of his powers. As Superman killed some, the Artans kept coming towards him, knocking him backward with powerful blasts from their weapons. Superman, undaunted, resumed his offensive on the Artans. Notwithstanding Superman's intervention, the Artans, worse than the most extreme despotism on Earth, still relentlessly exterminated people in untold numbers with no signs of retreating. Nevertheless, Superman prepared for a final stand as the Artans surged towards him. Out of the blue, an ear-splitting noise rocked the scene as Superman and the wounded police commissioner of the MPD, alongside the Artans, goggled at the source of the mysterious noise. Abrupt Nagian, advanced fixed-wing aircraft of hell with VTOL capabilities armed with the most crackerjack arsenal of technology with the shape of a bat streaking across the ruined Metropolis. Superman knew that this could be the work of one man. One man mentioned to his ears earlier on. One man called the Batman. And why was the Batman here? Elementary. To help! Like a shot, Batman piloted the Batwing straight on towards the Aten army with coldness as he sprayed more of his anti-plastic onto the plastic demons, causing them to go helter-skelter as lost the upper hand. Suddenly, they did. Superman could only rubberneck in stupefaction as he beheld the gargantuan Batwing efficiently deleting the Aten and even had the Aten's deadly beams bounced off. In minutes, the menacing Atens were mown down by anti-plastic. The once disciplined, well-marked-ish legions of Atens scattered into streams of retreating plastic candy asses in cold sweat as the Batwing gave chase like a nocturnal hunter, spraying nefariously uncanny amounts of anti-plastic at them. With that, the Atens too were trounced in Metropolis, thanks to Batman's anti-plastic and Superman.
Impossible. What sorcery is this? Is he with you?
I thought he was with you. Well, I think these plastic figures must be controlled by someone else rather than acting on their own. I suggest you forge an alliance with Batman. Your powers can complement his amazing tech and strategy devising abilities, which could enable you both to get to the bottom of this mystery.
Like magic, after the police commissioner of Metropolis articulated his proposal, Superman's orbs immediately caught sight of the Batwing, hovering 125 meters above the twisted steel beams and rubble that scarred Metropolis, glowering at the two of them like a predator from the shadows. Before anyone knew it, Superman leaped off the ground and flew towards the Batwing. The dangerously curved wings of the Batwing glowered at him menacingly, and the dual fins on the Batwing's bat-like frame reared their pugnacious heads at Superman, as well as the dual noses of the jet, built in the shape of a bat's ears, as he got close. Hovered on top of the Batwing, Superman did, standing transfixed as the advancement of the Batwing's technology flooded his vision. All was calm, and all was bright, as Superman gazed at the wondrous invention of Batman's. His eyes then traveled to the numerous hatches that lined alongside the Batwing, that gave way for first-rate Gatling guns. For 30 centuries straight, Superman didn't even discern a single movement at all, save the flow of electricity across several cables leading to Herculean twin-jet engines until... There! Out of a sudden, Superman descried a gauntlet turning some dial within the murky realm of the Batwing's cockpit from a myriad of otherworldly instruments and levers. Suddenly, the cockpit of the Batwing slipped back, and in it, a towering figure with a shadow of a bat stood up and faced the Man of Steel. Superman's features crushed in incredulity as he faced the man he thought never existed. Nerve impulses rushed to tell him that it was all a dream. But as Superman's optics saw the Prussian blue mask and the ridges on each side cresting like savage ears of a bat, the matching blue boots, gauntlets, and a long cape that danced with the devil in pale moonlight, the tight weave of his grey bodysuit, plus the utility belt laden with technology of the First Order. What's more, the humongous, disquieting bat symbol emblazoned with full glory. He knew that it wasn't a dream. He was staring, face to face, at the dark night of Gotham. Batman. The Batman.
Wait, you are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
Batman? You're Batman? Wait, you're real? I thought you were just an urban legend. It's a real honor meeting you.
I'm real when it's useful. At least I finally got to meet the illustrious, acclaimed Superman of Metropolis. Followed your efforts in Metropolis from Gotham, I have. I must say that you do tight efficient work by utilizing your superpowers well.
Thanks for the compliment, Batman. But I can't believe it. You were an urban legend in Metropolis, and now I'm meeting you in real life. So tell me, how was your plane immune to the reproachable attacks from the mannequins?
Elementary. My plane's made from special metals. The cunning mixture of metal afflection, mined from the nation of Bromlin, plus the metal Belgium, mined from the Yordrumlian Empire, and lad, I've recently cooked up this very flying machine that you're seeing here, Superman.
Impressed mightily, Superman then divulged his knowledge of the Atoms to Batman, revealing Luthor and the Riddler's intentions to Batman, who shivered with revulsion at the thought of such an alliance and greeted Lex Luthor's moral fall from grace with complete stupefaction, plus the Atoms' alien nature. Batman too revealed that Gotham came under attack from the Atoms. At once, both heroes deduced that Luthor and the Riddler had been intending to target them both at the same time with help from the Atoms.
As you can see, Batman, if we don't combine our strengths together, this alliance between Riddler and Lex Luthor would spell doom for this globe. We both know that these rogues are naive. Even if the Atoms were annihilated, these jabronis will still devote their energies on revenging themselves upon us. I figured you might want to help me apprehend both the Riddler and Lex Luthor. I might have superpowers, but you've got the tech and the brains that, if combined with my powers, could put an end to the nefarious crisis. So, what do you say?
You wanna get nuts? Let's get nuts.
And so it was. For the first time in history, Earth's mightiest heroes had a first taste of unity while banishing their differences to a phantom zone. Batman and Superman put on their thinking caps with utter imperativeness as they sighted Atoms headed in a northeastern direction, and a new fact relayed from the MPD's police commissioner that while search and rescue missions are commencing in Gotham, due to heavy damage in Metropolis's transport links, especially to their metro line, profoundly put on the back burner till some transport links are salvaged, search and rescue missions in Metropolis would be.
Alright, Superman, here's the play. I'll pursue the Atoms to track down where they're headed. Just track my location too, Superman. Meanwhile, you can use your super speed and accurate vision to save as many people as possible from the rubble and rejoin me wherever I am. And then, we try not to die. Don't worry about me. You're needed out there.